All right, this is should be one of the last rounds of video here. We're using some of we came up just a little short with the second batch of JB Weld. So we're using this gook from that first batch with the Devcon included. And what we're doing is we're just watch it, and this stuff is sticky, gooky. You almost have to like stick it to the edge of the mold, right? Watch, to be able to spread it, so to speak. You got to push it in, get it into the solid JB that's underneath it. But you got to just get it stuck to the side of the mold here. Otherwise, when you pull it, it'll just start moving, right? Because it's crazy. It's like when I was a kid, they had this stuff. Joe will probably remember this. Todd will probably remember this. That stuff called super elastic bubble plastic. Remember that stuff when we were kids? It was sticky and gooey and stuff just like this. It sticks more to the mixing stick than it does the other glue underneath it. But as we're pushing it down in, and we did have to take a sharp stick and make sure we popped any air bubbles that were way down deep. The nice thing about it being JB Weld is once we get this thing, God willing it comes out, once we get this thing out of this mold, we can always add more to the outside of it as we're grinding it down. If we end up where the points don't get completely filled because there's a little air bubble down there, we can just add a little JB Weld to the end of it and just keep filing it and sanding it and working it till it fits the reed cage. There's going to be a lot of fitting to the reed cage going on here. It's just a game of getting it to stick to the straight JB Weld alone that's underneath. It just wasn't quite enough to get it filled tippy top right off. And see, we can run this right across the old belt sander and knock this stuff down here that's hanging up over top of this top surface pretty easy. Well, how do you know you don't have an air bubble underneath there? Because we're working, we're bouncing it up and down, right? And we're working it. And we can see right here those two little bits where the splitter is going to come in. You can see the level of the glue bouncing up and down when we're pushing on it. So that's how we know we don't have an airlock. We ain't got no air issues going on here. Sounds like the mailman's here. We got a bunch of stuff coming, little parts, Oregon fuel line parts, right? Some of you Yamaha guys, Steve, might know about this. The little rubber bushings, after you drill a hole in the plastic tank, or even a metal aluminum tank, you put these fittings on, rubber bushing, you push a rubber bushing through the hole you just drilled in your tank, and then you push the fitting through and it seals the rubber up to the tank. Really nice, no welding involved. You could do it at the track if you had to. I have a few of those, but I wanted a whole other set in case, as I show you these videos later, we end up having to use a surge tank with this pump carburetor. We're pumping fuel with just a single stack little Tillotson carburetor all the way from the fuel tank on the laydown cart all the way over to the other side of the cart to where the carburetor is. So there you go. I'm going to keep working with this stuff and try pushing, and you see this side here drop down a little bit. There was a little air bubble there. So I'm just going to keep messing with it and trying to work any air bubbles up out of there. And like I said, if it gets a little void, like like the other one did, the one I showed you that I got to finish hogging out, the new development conveyor or stuffer. If you see there, you just dig it out and make sure you got all the edges of it clear, and then you just mix up a little bit and you spot it in, you know. Really all you can do. Because this is going to require a lot of grinding, and this is basically the same thing I'm doing with the new development cage. It's a lot of changing it, because these two pieces that you've been seeing for the last day and a half are all for the laydown cart engine, and they're both for a 40 millimeter setup. So we'll clean this off a little bit. Maybe we'll get it working a little better. Man, this stuff is a real pain in the ass to try to maneuver. I'm trying to push some of it down into the mold to get this to come up here, this level to come up here. And I'm also seeing a little dimple on this side, so let's try a little more. She's starting to get a little stiffy. Put a little here. Be careful. It's starting to get to a point where you're pulling it up out of there more than you're pressing it down in. You just need that one more little winglet there of this thing to get filled. You might have to get a little aggressive with how we're working it here. Yeah, because this stuff here is now so sticky it's no longer usable. We need just a tiny little bit more of whatever we can get glean off of this thing here. This would be your straight JB Weld. It's kind of a tedious job. I mean, it's still fun and rewarding when you're done. I mean, nothing turns out exactly right the first time, so you got to keep that in mind as well. It's like anything else. The first time is the first time, you know. So after that, you've got experience at you know, what works, what didn't work, and you can take that. It's just like molding a nose cone for the go-kart, right? Spraying the gel, cutting out the pieces of fiberglass and laying the glass, and you know, starting at generally you start at the bottom, work your way up, so you don't get a ton of resin flooding the bottom of the darn mold, you know, in the glass and making it heavy. But sometimes you got to start at the top and work your way down. It just depends on the shape. So the very first time, you really don't know how it's going to work. If it works out, cool. If you find some places where you had an air void or something, so you might have to start down in a crevice and work your way up and out from there. It's a process, right? So here you go. We're going to let that sit until tomorrow. Surely tomorrow we'll come out and poke at it and see if it's hardened up. It didn't obviously didn't flow real smoothly like when we poured the mold around the original busted up piece, right? So would have been nice. That's why I was hoping this would make it more liquidy. This would have made it more fluid. The clear stuff is more. There's less viscosity to it, right? It's more fluid. You can pour it in. That's what I wanted, was something that would pour in, but we weren't sure that it was going to stay in place under the heat and the fuel and all that kind of stuff. But we know JB Weld is good, tough stuff. So there you go. That's end for today. I'm going to grind on another piece and try to get that in position. And then, of course, I'm going to try to get the Michigan football game on the radio here because it's on Big Ten Network and we get everything through the air. And if we can't get it, on the radio out here, then we'll go in the house and kick our feet up and have a little lunch and listen to at least the first half before we come back out and work on some more stuff. So there you go, folks. She's getting a little sticky. A lot less working time than we thought. This says handling time 4 to 5 minutes. We've been at it quite a bit more than 4 to 5 minutes with this gookie stuff. So, and it's been in there for quite a while. So it is what it is. We'll find out what we got tomorrow, I guess. Come on back. Check it out. I'm really praying for the other one now because I think the old school reed cage is going to be the faster reed cage, the one that's split. But all we can do is go down and do the best we can and have a good time while we're doing it. And we know we'll be doing that. As long as it's not raining, we'll be having us a good time. I'm going to invite you with me now, but we got Thanksgiving to get through first. Godspeed, God bless. Hang in there, y'all. We're praying for you. I'm praying pray for this too.